this is race-fueled engineering. This is cross-country. This is over mountain. This is performance. This is the passion of green. This is Cannondale.
All right, mountain bike fans, hello and welcome to Southern California. We are here in San Dimas right now in beautiful Bonelli Park for round number 1 of the 2015 US Cup Mountain Bike Series. Also round number 1 of the USA Cycling Pro XCT Series. I'm Cole McElwain here on behalf of Show Air Cycling Group, the US Cup, and we have some really awesome racing for you on tap today. This is it, guys. The whole season here, not just for North America, but really for the world as a whole. Everything kicks off here at Bonelli Park. The UCI C1 event, the men's pro field today and the women's pro field today are some of the best fields that we will ever see in North America. We're going to be coming at you guys live all afternoon here. You guys are going to be able to watch the racing action just like we are in real time. Now, women's race, we have some big heavy hitters here. Obviously, the whole Luna Chicks crew, which is always here. Magali Roche is here. Katarina Nash, your defending champion on this course, is here. On the men's side, it's just as good. We have the Specialized guys with Todd Wells and Howard Grotz. We have literally the whole entire Cannondale crew, obviously Show Air Cycling Group affiliated and sponsored with Cannondale. So we have the European guys and Manuel Fumic and Marco Fontana. We have the domestic crew with Keegan Swenson and Max Plaxton, etc. And then, of course, Jeff Kabush, the defending champ here, riding for Scott Three Rocks Racing. So some awesome racing for you on tap today, guys. Again, I'm Cole McElwain, and this is Bonelli Park coming up right now. We are all spread across 8 riders per row, and they go back and back and back and back. So those riders here on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and beyond, they're going to have to really take advantage of this pavement road section here on the start to try and get their selection, try and make their way up the outside, up the middle, do whatever they can, because you got to get into the single track here, top 15, top 20, if you want any chance as we get underway. Larry, here they come, coming at you.
Oh, just massive field down there. In that front row is a who's who of some of the best riders in the world. We're talking about guys that have won world championships, World Cup races, national titles, and leading them on to the tarmac here is the rider from Italy. That's Andrea Tiberi. So he has got the whole shot, and now this hard charging field, 6 abreast as they come onto the pavement.
It's going to take us a second here. We got everybody in their new kits for this year. Still hard to recognize some of the riders, but I see a lot of Americans, a lot of North Americans getting on the tail here of some of the best World Cup talent. Olympic medalists right there. Marco Fontana in 4th place with the Red Bull helmet riding for Cannondale. He was the bronze medalist in London, the bronze medalist at the World Championships last year as well.
So they will hit the pavement here and begin to settle into what will be a pretty good grind. Going to their water bottles early on. They know they have to stay on top of their hydration. Can't miss a drink. You can't miss a water bottle today or you are going to be in trouble. So they hit the pavement, and it's number 74 who's got himself all the way up into the lead. And he's come from a little further back.
Just going over that top 10 list again, we have Manuel Fumic in there, Sergio Motocan Gutierrez, we have Marco Fontana, Steven Ettinger, your former U.S. national champ, Kohei Yamamoto, now riding for Trek Factory. We have Rafael Gagne in there, Derek Zanstra, Anton Cooper, your defending champ, Jeff Kabush, Todd Wells is up there. You see him now, Larry, 5, 6 across as they make their way up this climb. Everybody wants to get into position as we dive down into the single track. Who's it going to be? Anton Cooper in there riding for Cannondale in the white jersey of your national champion from New Zealand. So again, guys, a fully global field here.
Trouble for Ettinger right there. That was Steven Ettinger, our former U.S. national champion, marathon champion last year, riding in his new color. So something happened. I don't know if he was a mechanical, a crash, or whatever, but now Ettinger's season not starting exactly as he was hoping.
But yeah, I mean, tough luck there. I mean, he's already finds himself, sure, he's a couple minutes back. That in itself isn't the problem. It's the 90-plus whatever guys we have that are in between him and the lead of this bike race now. It's going to take him a long time. So a broken chain is the word coming through. So he had to scooter his bike around to the pits. Luckily, he was able to get a new chain fairly quickly. He's back on course, but making his way through all that traffic going to be very difficult. Now, I believe that's going to be Fumic on the front. The German rider looks like his Cannondale teammate Anton Cooper there as well. Then Marco Fontana from Italy, your bronze medalist at the World Championship. So Cannondale right now, the factory squad here in Southern California, going 1, 2, and 3 as they make their way down this blown out, very dusty, very dry descent here on lap number 1. Alex Grant riding for the Ride Biker Alliance is coming through there. Troy Wells in the Cliff Bar kit fighting his way into the top 35 or so. A huge day. We saw, Larry, how many women made it onto the final lap. I think it was 13 of the 50 or so women that started. Now, granted, they were taking a little longer laps here, but in the elite men's race, you better get going today, because if you don't find yourself in that front group here early on, there's a very good chance you're not going to make it anywhere near the end of this race.
Yeah, the middle field, about 50th in the pack was already probably 30 or 40 seconds behind, and that's just the race stringing itself out. No fault to how fast you can go. You just caught, it's kind of like a SIG alert on the 10 freeway on the way to LA at rush hour in the morning. You just can't move. And that's what some of these mid-pack guys like Paxton and Wicks and guys like that just didn't get that call-up position. Let's talk a little bit about some of the young Americans in this field that are on the rise. We talked about Kerry Werner a little bit. You alluded to him. He raced pretty much a full cyclocross campaign this year, tried to take that fitness that he earned last summer, silver medal at the U.S. Cross Country Championships, and carry it over. Is he the real deal? Is this going to be a breakout year for Werner?
Kerry Werner, all signs are pointing to yes. He's got a new squad that he's riding for this year with the Raleigh Clement program, so he finds himself in a new kit. That always gives you that little bit motivation early season to go out and prove yourself, to prove to the guys who took the chance on you. He's been strong, but it's even that younger group that's been the most impressive. Howard Grotz, Keegan Swenson, Steven Ettinger, still a young rider, but just between Swenson and Howard Grotz, I mean, we're talking podium rides at the World Championship level for the under-23 age group. We haven't seen that in a long, long time in the men's field. So the upcoming group of U.S. specifically, North American, but U.S. specifically, maybe the most talented that we've seen since the days of the early 90s when the U.S. riders dominated the sport. Not since the globalization of mountain biking has the United States had this much talent in our ranks going forward.
We have been not really paying too much attention to the front of this race because we know we've got a lot of racing still to go, but the rider from Germany is in the lead. A couple of time German champion, multi-time Olympian, Manny Fumic, should be dropping down this big fast ascent here shortly. But already this is playing itself out a little different than last year. They're strung out a little bit more single file. This is C1 points on the line. Start positions next week at stake as well, which will be an HC race over in Fontana. But if that's a shot of our leader right there, Manny Fumic is going clear early on.
Yeah, a lot of the Europeans, they used to go down and do the Cyprus Sunshine Cup, get some early season UCI racing in February and March. Really, California, Southern California, has become that early season racing training destination to test your legs, get the UCI points that are on tap. And as you mentioned, Larry, all signs right now pointing to Bonelli right here being the opening round of the World Cup for next year and even maybe years going forward. The Scott Tedrow Show Air Cycling Group are in serious talks right now. Woo, as he comes flying down those logs. That was an unreal speed right there, putting his life on the line. Here we go now. Rider number 2. This is going to be bib number 6. Tibri coming through there, and then we're going to see where is the top North American. I believe that will be Cooper. So all of these elite men making their way through the logs there. 1 hop, 2 hops, 3 hops with no regard for human life. We see Marco Fontana in the Red Bull helmet and the baggy shorts, and then finally our leading North American Todd Wells, the elder statesman of this group, followed by Jeff Kabush. The experience with those two, it's worth its weight in gold on a course like this. And then right there, Kerry Werner in the blue and black of the Raleigh Clement program. A great a great ride for that young American.
Well, the one rider we called there for a minute was Rafael Gagne. He was the guy in bib number 6 today, and he has always come to Southern California brimming with fitness. He's put himself on the podium here probably 2 out of the last 3 seasons, so Gagne is not afraid to match the pace of the couple-of-time German world champion, or German national champion.
Spencer Paxton was going through there. Sepp Kuss, a very strong U23 rider out of Durango, Colorado, currently a student at the University of Boulder. That's a great thing about this week, too. If you're watching, if you're thinking about coming out here and you're a young rider, it usually lines up perfectly with your spring break. So a lot of guys who come off the collegiate season open their season here with a big start to the year as we see riders going down. We have riders down out on course everywhere, Larry. That's going to be a common theme here throughout the day. So many guys on such a tight course as, again, that moon dust is just grabbing front wheel after front wheel, sending riders to the ground. Meanwhile, at the front of the race here, nothing but perfection for the elites as they head over 1, 2, 3 hops through those Tedrow logs.
Yeah, that's what I think we were seeing, Catherine Pendrell this morning, wanting to lead down those descents, because if you're second, third, fourth wheel, or even worse now with these men, 20th in line, you're not really seeing much, below about the waist level of a bike. You are just riding literally blind into a desert dust storm. So we saw all sorts of chaos ensuing up there on that big, very sinewy downhill single track. Riders off the bike, some riders choosing to run through the weeds as Manny Fumic right now tearing it up off the front. Whoa, there's David Flatten, I think. Was that planned, like the no-footer kind of screaming into the race fans?
All right, we got our leaders now coming into the to the finish line area. We will go through right now 6 laps still to go. That is going to be your German rider representing the Cannondale Factory Squad. That is Manny Fumic. He looks over his shoulder. He's got nobody in sight yet. Finally, second place, it is Gagne, Raphael Gagne, Raf as he's known from Canada. He is sitting right now in second wheel.
There goes Jeff Kabush going by. There is Kerry Werner, and those brand new for him, Raleigh Clement tires. This will be the young Coloradan going through. I think that's Howard Grotz, and it is Howard Grotz. And if that kid had a uphill to go up, and I mean I don't think anybody in North America climbs long mountains better than he does at this point in his career.
Adam Morka right there sitting on the lead of that group. Russell Finsterwald tucked in just behind him. And again, everybody all strung out here as Sepp Kuss comes across the line.
A talented field here today is only going to get deeper and faster next week. And then the next race here, round number 3 at Bonelli Park on April 11th, will be almost a World Cup. It's going to be unbelievable.
So the German rider there dives down into the trail. Looks like he's got maybe about 10 seconds right now on the main chase group. Raphael Gagne there dangling in no man's land in between, but then a 7-rider strong chase group. 7 riders. It's going to be very hard today to ride solo. Fumic, though, he did it last year. He had a great ride going. It was only Jeff Kabush who was able to leapfrog through the chase groups and able to get himself to the front. Jeff Kabush, your defending champion in not only this race, but in the U.S. Cup Series overall. But right now, Cannondale Factory Squad, Cannondale Bicycles here with huge numbers when it comes to that front group. They've got the factory squad here. They've got the domestic squad here. Just coming through the start-finish line now. An update, Steven Ettinger coming through after that broken chain on the start lap. He's about mid-pack right now, probably 2-3 minutes down on the leaders, but he's got a big chase on his hands. 250 down from the leaders, and a lot of riders, probably 40 or 50 still between him and the front of the bike race. Going to be an interesting race within the race to see where he can find his way to. Coming up now, that's Troy Wells, and I think Brady Capias was there. Cole Oberman sitting on the group as well, but one rider still all alone at the front of this race.
And there is the shot of Manny Fumic charging. Nobody even near him. We got a chaser that was at least a couple of seconds ago or a couple of minutes ago riding all by himself as well, and that's Raphael Gagne that kind of got caught off that front group. So Gagne, there's the shot. Gagne continues to sit about 5, maybe 6 seconds behind Fumic, and then you've got that group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders at the front of that big chase group.
Yeah, when we look ahead to the potential of having a World Cup here at this venue next year, I mean, it's not going to look that different from this in terms of what the racing is going to bring. I mean, we have Nino Schurter coming to town here in a couple of weeks to race the HC event out here. I mean, you have Absalon coming out here as well. So it's going to be really a preview of what that World Cup is like. The depth may be a little bit stronger as you get some of those mid-pack European guys chasing the UCI points. Obviously, the under 23 and the junior fields are really what you get boosted up there as some of the best junior talent travels only to those World Cups. But, man, I mean, this venue, it's proven already that it can host a race of this level. And I think what it's proving right now is this course can really produce the level and the excitement of racing that you look for when you put the best guys in the world together on the same track. Just saw there, that was Ettinger coming through there. So after that broken chain, he continues to ride his way through the field, probably up now to around the top 40. Again, a long way for him to go as the leaders here make their way over those logs like it's nothing. 1, 2, 3. Like we said, guys, bike handling only takes you so far. Everybody in the elite men's race here knows how to hop those logs. It's the confidence. It's having the ability to convince yourself that you're not going to die. You're just going to go through faster, and these guys letting it all hang out here right now. But, Larry, one mistake, you catch your back wheel, sends you over. You got a railroad tie with your name on it waiting for you just about 10 feet in front of your face.
Yeah, and that is not the way any of these guys want to start their season. I see, thinking back to Ettinger, deep in the field. I mean, that psychological game that he's got to play with himself right now. Coming in here knowing he's got world-class form. We saw him last year, for example, over at Fontana. You know, literally go for the win on a hot afternoon there, and to come out and at the end of the start loop be 2 minutes and 40 seconds chasing on the field. What's going on in his head right now? Is it a game? Is this just a matter of let's go see how many guys I can pass and catch and make it fun for myself?
Yeah, I think you just live within the moment. Every instance, every guy in front of you, every group in front of you, you're trying to make that pass. You're trying to close that. Where you end up at the end, I don't think anyone can project. You can't control what the guys in front of you are doing there, but if he rides to his strength, he's going to get his way through. He's going to get some openings here, especially on this start-finishing stretch. There's a lot of room to try and leapfrog your way from group to group. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes his way at least onto that last lap. Spencer Paxson now rolling through for Kona. Looks like that is Russell Finsterwald there for the SRAM Troy Lee Designs team, riding that Trek hardtail this afternoon. The course torn up, though, after the women's race, some of the amateur racing earlier in the day. We've seen this dust every single lap. It's just tearing up that new layer of soil one after the other. You can go down as deep as you want. There is no moisture down there. It is just moon dust and ruts all day out here at Bonelli Park, and you saw it already. They're grabbing a lot of front wheels back in the pack. I saw even after the warm-up, some of the elite men who had been out there coming by with dust on their kits, some of them just going down even in practice today. So Gagne, here he comes now. He's going to make his way in here on the conclusion of lap number 2. The question marks with him, he's always been a fast starter. He's always in the front group. And just like Jeff Kabush, a fellow Canadian, has the reputation of being able to come from behind late in the race, Gagne historically has been the man to fade, the man to take the first attack and then fall back through as the laps continue to tick by. So will today be the difference? Will this year be a new Raphael Gagne? Is this attack here to stay? We will see. I think, although a lot of the chasers behind got to be thinking that in the back of their head, that these guys are going to come back to us.
Well, they're just hitting the pavement and looking at 5 to go, and he hits his Garmin there and checks his lap time, and they'll be working pretty much together. It looks like 12 minutes and 30 seconds. So they've settled into a nice pace out there, but they're still continuing to put a little bit of time on this chase group, which has dwindled down to 4.
All right, you guys have heard a lot about the course features out here in Bonelli and how this is really a World Cup style track. Now, a big part of that is the A-line, B-line option, and this is really where we get down to it. These 3 logs on this hillside, the camera never does it justice in terms of the steepness of this terrain, but let me tell you, this thing is insane. It's moon dust in between, and then these huge right angle corner logs here, 3 of them as you make your way down. Now, you may think, well, it's not much bunny hop, but at this steepness, you have so much weight on that front wheel that just to get the front wheel up to get yourself over is incredibly tricky. But more so, it's the mental aspect here, knowing that if anything goes wrong, if anybody grabs a little too much front brake, you're gonna go flying maybe 20 feet through the air, and you got these big things here waiting to grab a shoulder, a head. It could get ugly, especially on that first lap when you have 10, 20 guys coming in at the same time.
Lap number 3 is underway. You're watching USA Cycling's US Cup here at Bonelli Park in Southern California. Racing this afternoon is presented by Cannondale, Kenda Tires, and Show Air, Trade Show and Event Transportation. So 120 riders towed the line here about 38 minutes ago, and we're down to only 89 riders left in our field as some of our back markers have already been hit by the 80% rule, so the attrition rate is absolutely going to be phenomenal. Eric Bostrom just went by. Big brother Ben not racing mountain bikes right now, but if he does, these guys would be scared because that guy's got just one of those genetic freakish motors, and he can go fast. Eric Bostrom now proven to be one of the faster guys in Southern California, no doubt about that. Kenda Cup racing, UCI mountain bike racing, happened in New England this summer, right around Boston.
Yeah, Scott Tedrow and the guys at Show Air Cycling Group bringing the U.S. Cup flavor, bringing that Kenda Cup all the way to the East Coast this year. We're going to have a big Pro XCT at Adams Farm, Walpole, Massachusetts, I believe, the weekend before Nationals in July, and then a bunch of good racing. We're going to be at the Narweasels mountain bike race in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Maybe the most exciting, most technical, most challenging cross-country course you will find, I'll say, anywhere. That thing is going to be insane when you see some of the top-level talent get out there, but the East Coast, New England, the West Coast, everybody right now, and that kind of brings up, as we see this lead group coming through, Larry, here we go, we hit the pavement, and we are all together.
Well, we're all together except for Raphael Gagne, who was about 200 meters, maybe even better than that, up the road. And he grabbed the middle of those bars and went off in time trial fashion. And that group is about 30 seconds behind. And they all look like they're very content right now to just ride a pretty moderate tempo and all go to their water bottles and take on whatever they need, a little bit more energy here as we are down to 4 to go. And Gagne, though, has got a bunch of real estate And, you know, it's almost his race right now to try to win this thing. You got 30 seconds over that group. What's your strategy, Colt? I think you got to go for it.
Oh, yeah, especially as you see that second group. Everyone looking at each other. No one wants to be the one to pull here on the pavement. Gagne by himself. He has no other incentive but to go after it. You saw him get down there in the arrow position. And just in a section like that, when everybody else sits up and looks at each other and grabs a gel, he can put 15, 20 seconds just like that if he's committed to staying off the front. It's a great opportunity, I think, if he can get out of sight, out of mind, if he can maintain that explosiveness on these climbs. I mean, it's looking more and more likely like he has a great chance out there. 12:37 was the clock on that last lap, so 12:30 was lap number 2, 12:37, only 7 seconds slower. So unlike that women's race, the laps here staying fairly consistent, at least to this point in the race, but still not even at the halfway point. 4 laps to go. 4 laps to go for the elite men.
So Colt McElwain with me, Larry Longo, and Scott Tedrow, the man of, well, this whole series, and really the guy that's been in control of racing here in America the last couple of years. This is just race number 1.
Max is going after Raphael. So I was just thinking they were all going to sit back, and Max just surprises me. Take it easy, Max. We got more racing to go, but I think Max decided not to let Raphael go. So you guys are right.
And they're drawing people out, so we're already seeing some animation out there. And we got some pretty big names that are not here yet, but they're on their way, like the number 1 and number 2 guys in the world.
Yep, we have absolute confirmation that Nino Schurter will be here, and we know that Julian's going to try and make it. Julian had a broken collarbone, so he's managing his recovery, but I believe he's on his way. If he can make it, if it works out. But we're going to have, I think we had 119 today. We'll probably have 150 to 175 racers for the second Bonelli, and we'll have 130 or 40 out at Fontana. So, look, we're really working hard. The world wants to come here. They want to be here, and they're all so gracious and so grateful, and I'm grateful for them for coming. It's expensive. It's a long way to come, but you know, I think we have 22 nations being represented this weekend. That's very humbling for me. It's amazing. We'll keep it going. Wyndham's done a great job out in New York, but we need a World Cup here where there's 11 million people that live within a 20-mile radius. Simon Burney from the UCI and Peter have been amazing. They've been helping me over the last 3 years slowly step it up. And I know the UCI is going to work hard to have it. The riders want it. The fans want it. We want it. I want it more than anything. We've got the money put aside. We have people like Specialized and Cannondale stepping up to help us. Kenda has helped me tremendously. Kenda, please buy Kenda tires. They've given us a ton of money. We're going to have a World Cup here. If I have to fly over to Switzerland and get an apartment for a month, we will get a World Cup. We want the opening round, and we're going to get it. So I got to tell you, Raphael is not letting up. He just attacked up that hill. They're hitting a ton of traffic. They need to pull these riders. It's amazing how they're working their way through the field. This is going to be real interesting here.
Yeah, and fortunately there is plenty of room, and in fact that's one of maybe the saving parts of this race course. As there goes Raphael Gagne, and maybe just about ready to get to his rear wheel on this climb would be his fellow Canadian countryman for Show Air Cannondale, Max Plaxton. Plaxton with 1 Canadian national title to his credit over the years.
Jeff Kabush, your defending champ, Canadian national champ, rolls through as well. He's got his Scott Three Rocks teammate Derek Zanstra, a former Canadian national champion himself, trying to make contact there. These guys work together. These last 3 laps, as we see, just like Scott told us, they are all together at the front. We have a 2-man leading duo, and Plaxton is going to sit right on that wheel. Scott, does he sit there? Do they work together? Or does Plaxton use the momentum and carry on right through?
Well, I'll tell you what, if Max is feeling great, he will attack with 2 to go. So I think he'll gather himself, and you might see him attack on that last climb to get into the technical this lap. But if history shows, Max is going to wait till 2 to go, and then he'll try and time trial it.
So we bring them together here at the UCI C1 Bonelli Park, the best riders from around the globe. And what do we get? 2 Canadians in the women's race, 2 Canadians in the men's race. Look at this with Adam Morka, a 3rd Canadian there sitting on the front of the chase group right now. So Canada is very well represented, flying that maple leaf flag all the way down here in Southern California. Those guys, they all make the journey down to Tucson, down to Southern California to get their training in. So they are very much ready for the start of the season here, going into the Pan Am Championships in Colombia in a couple of weeks. and then the opening round of the World Cup, things get rolling here very quickly. And just like we talked about earlier with that Olympic selection criteria, the Canadians going after those maximum start spots.
Plenty of spots on this course. It almost literally wraps back on itself. So you can see, you can feel where the pressure is as this chase comes from behind. And there's also plenty of people out there with two tech zones and feed zones. You've got management people all over the course letting these guys know what their splits are and exactly what their lead is on the chasers and if it's going up or going down. So these guys, to a certain extent, can sort of manage their efforts as we are underway with just two
I think Todd
laps
Wells
now.
just got a sense of urgency. I just saw Todd really pushing.
So Gagne now is the tactician. We are seeing him ride a la Emily Batty style this morning, just kind of marking moves, chasing the wheel, letting Plaxton dictate the pace. He was the aggressor early on. He is the one that created this leading situation for he and Plaxton. And now he is content to bring it in, sitting second wheel. They're going to get the bell here, Colt McElwain. With one to go now, one lap to go for your leaders. Make some noise here at Bonelli Park. Join us on the race course and help these guys out.
So here we go now, coming on, it is two Canadians at the front, still less than 12 minutes to go. We have one lap to go, They look over their shoulders. Nobody has time to sit up and look around. The chasers are still in their sights. So both riders now not only fighting for the win, but fighting to stay in these top two positions. 12:28 on the clock. So their second fastest lap of the day here. That was Plaxton's attack. They really lit that one up as they go into the last lap now. Can they turn it up again? Can they go sub 12:15? Could this be the fastest lap of the day? The chasers, though, Larry, the chasers, they are coming back. Anton Cooper is right there. He's got a teammate, he's got another rider with him, the Trek rider.
And that's James Reed, the rider out of the Republic of South Africa. And they're about 30 seconds behind. So unless disaster strikes both those guys up front, they are racing for third and fourth. There's the Spanish rider, Mantecon, going up. He's in fifth. And now, where is Jeff Kabush and Todd Wells?
All right, guys, now looking at this course, a lot of these sections may not look like World Cup level super technical stuff, especially when we get on some of these fire roads, more open sections. But what makes this stuff deceivingly challenging is just how dry it is. You take a look, I mean, they're in the middle of a really bad drought here in California, and it's all these small sort of ball bearing size rocks. So every single corner here, every single climb is just waiting to steal that traction away from you. So high speeds like these elite World Cup level racers are going to be bringing to this track, really it has a speed limit almost. There's so much you can go there testing the limit of the traction on your tires that this course, every single section, whether or not it's got big logs to hop or not, is going to be treacherous.
These guys are tired, they're looking back, so Max knows he's got to try and get out front.
145.
Kabush there sitting with his teammate Derek Zanstra.
They're both looking.
At Fontana.
So Gagne now moving back to the front. Interesting tactic here. Not sure whether he's making a push or whether he just wants to slow things down and set the pace. If I'm Rafael Gagne, I'm very confident sitting on the wheel and waiting for the sprint finish, waiting for that final 3 minutes where I can turn up the screws. I think Plaxton, he knows that. Plaxton's going to have to find a spot. Look for that major climb going up to feed zone number 2. I look for Plaxton to really try and turn the screws as they go over the top.
So a great battle out there between these dynamic duo, one from Western Canada, one from Eastern Canada. And right now, story of the afternoon is Rafael Gagne being the aggressor, being the guy that kind of threw the big rock in the pond earlier on and created a bunch of waves that rippled back and knocked everybody out of a contention. And the only rider to be able to bridge to the front is now sitting in second position, and that's Max Plaxton. And we are about 9 minutes to the finish line.
I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen here. Max is going to sit on his wheel until they get into the forest, and he's going to try and attack him right down here at the last little climb at the end. He's feeling it, so I think he's going to wait till the last minute to attack. The climbs, he doesn't have quite the climbing legs that he normally has because he's working towards it, so I think he's going to wait and try and wait to this last little climb above the ridge and get ahead and see if he can't hold him off.
Marco Fontana there, just drifting off the back of those two Scott Three Rocks riders, Kabush and Zanstra, having a good day. Everybody inside the top 10 riding really well. But if I'm looking at these leaders, Raphael Gagne, the body language, the style here suggests that he's playing defense right now. The best offense, sometimes a good defense. That means getting in front, setting the pace that you want to ride, preventing Plaxton from being able to attack. If you make a mistake, at least you're in front. But as Scott said, I know Plaxton right now is champing at the bit. He is just foaming at the mouth. He knows he's got the legs. He knows he's got one more attack under him, and the confidence with Plaxton is always sky high. He knows that he can do it. They can both smell the finish line at this point. It's going to come down to whether or not Raphael can respond. I don't see him putting in the first attack unless we get within the final 2 or 3 minutes.
Raphael's attacking right now. This is a very steep climb, guys. Raphael's attacking right there. Okay, this is a very steep climb here. This is where Raphael, you're going to see him. If he's got anything at all, he's got to attack Max, because this is where his hardtail will help him. This is extremely steep. Tough, tough climb.
These guys have seen Colt so evenly matched since Max Plaxton got up there. I'm somehow beginning to kind of almost think this thing could come to the finish line together.
I agree. I agree. If Raphael could attack, he would be attacking hard here. There's only one more place Raphael can attack, and I don't think Max is going to let him. So this will be very interesting. They're both hurting, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, like you said, Scott, I think this whole thing has been an attack, and Plaxton has just never let the gap open. They're both evenly matched. I don't think anyone has an extra gear on this climb. I don't think anyone's holding back at this point. They both, just the body language, the rocking, it suggests that they're both fully committed. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Gagne of old, waiting for the sprint, fading after the first lap. Clearly, this is a new rider that we are not familiar with seeing, and he's got all sorts of tricks up his sleeve today, looking stronger than ever. But Plaxton, I'll say veteran. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time, but also just tactically savvy. Max, from the very young age, has known how to win a bike race. When you put 3 guys of equal talent at the front, sometimes it takes that little extra percentage point of attitude, of enthusiasm, of motivation, of confidence, and Plaxton has always had that edge when it came down to it.
Well, we've obviously seen Max. He's a little bit
Max just dumped his water bottle, so he's all in right now. He just doubled down.
Highly decorated and a little bit more experience. He's been an Olympian. He's raced at the highest level. Gagne is more of a
Raphael's attacking right here. This is where he's got to go.
But they're coming into the feed zone here shortly. In fact, there is the feed zone, and Gagne's got the lead. He's just going to douse himself one more time and out of the saddle. And
yep, this is where he had to attack.
All in for Gagne. So Gagne
Max has got to respond here.
Gagne is attacking on the backside, Colt McElwain, and he is in it to win it now with about 4 or 5 minutes away from the finish line.
Danger. This is danger for Plaxton. He cannot let that gap open up. Gagne is not going to slow down at the finish line as Plaxton takes that bottle, dumps it over his head, and then he is out of the saddle, shifting down. He's in the 14. He's in the 13. He is trying to close that gap down the descent. I don't know who you give the advantage to. Both of them excellent bike handlers as we approach the logs on the final lap as they come to the field. Looks over his shoulder. A very tight race.
Attacking here.
Racers coming through now the feed zone. They didn't stand a chance though. Both of these riders at the front they have gauged their efforts perfectly. Both still with the perfect amount of gas left in the tank. They are both going to run empty here just as they cross the finish line. Who's going to get there first? Right now, Raphael Gagne stretching that advantage ever so slightly. It's about 5-6 bike lengths, but Plaxton can come back.
Raphael's going to take it. Raphael's going to take it. He can't catch him unless he goes down.
Still have a couple of tricky little nasty technical descents on this section, of course. One little bobble opening the door back up potentially for Plaxton. So he's got to be absolutely perfect through this final probably 1.5 miles, maybe not even that, couple of kilometers of race course. Plaxton has got him in his sights. I mean, the separation isn't much, but it's enough right now for Gagne to continue to will himself forward. He'll make a right on this nasty little chute section, try to keep it upright, and we start adding up the seconds back to Plaxton, and it's probably nearly now 10 seconds separation.
Well, Max is fighting. He's going to give it all he's got, but Raphael's got really good legs.
Now this finishing stretch, it finishes with a lot of flat, twisty stuff here through the grass. Now just because Raphael has the advantage on the climb, he's got the watts per kilo. As we come down to the flat sections, Plaxton may very well have the pure watts, so he might be able to close that gap down, but it is getting dangerously large there. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe we're having a conversation. 10 seconds, as Tedros said, I think this race might be over with.
Yeah, it's going to take a mistake by Raphael at this point.
At this point, these guys are absolutely running on emotion. There just cannot be anything left in the legs. And right now, it is just simply the mental desire to try to bring it home for victory. Gagne used everything he had to go out of tech zone number 2, out of the feed zone. He took a bottle, completely doused himself. I'm sure it was just freezing water, kind of that big shock, and then out of the saddle in the ring, big ring, and just able to open up a big gap over Plaxton. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here in the venue, join us at the finish line, because this race is moments from coming to a conclusion.
Yeah, so now Gagne just going around that big lefty inflatable tent. He's going to make his way onto the grass. Plaxton is there. It is close, but maybe not close enough. It is not going to be close enough. Plaxton, he's got some lap traffic in the way, and Raphael Gagne already with some time to celebrate. A high five to the team support in the thing. Still one more sip from the bottle before he makes his way onto the pavement. Larry Longo, this has been a huge day, a confirmation of a new life for Raphael Gagne.
Well, this is probably the biggest win of his career, and he is reacting like that here at the finish line to take on Max Plaxton and pummel him in the corner with about 1 mile to go. He rides in for victory, but give it up for this Chaser racer. He will bring it through with a silver medal ride, and he's got a little bit of time to celebrate as well. Gets congratulated by his team management, Scott Tedrow, and he's got to be pleased with where his form is at this point in the season. Now this great battle between the two young riders, Anton Cooper and James Reed. It's going to be Anton Cooper.
Cooper there close them big time on that final lap. Wheelies across the line, a big bronze medal for the young, still under 23 rider. So unofficially our under 23 winner on the day. And then Larry, rider number 4 here, another solid ride.
Yeah, out of the Republic of South Africa, not a solid ride, a fabulous finish here. A little bit of an unknown quantity for us, but he'll finish 4th, and that's James Reed riding for that program. And here in Southern California, we'll be looking for good things from him. Welcoming him all back. There's your top 5. Raphael Gagne from Quebec, Canada, is your winner for Rocky Mountain. Second here, the silver medal ride was Max Plaxton for Show Air Cannondale. Cannondale rider Anton Cooper, 3rd. There's Derek Zandstra coming, or Adam Morka, I should say. Adam Morka working his way across in 6th position. Cooper was 3rd, Reed was 4th, Manticon 5th, Morka 6th. There is Derek Zandstra, the Scott Three Rocks racing rider out of Trenton, Ontario, Canada. He'll finish 7th. His teammate Jeff Kabush, the 8-time Canadian champion, coming through inside the top 10, and a solid ride by that rider from Estonia. That's Martin Liu. We should see Todd Wells, if he hangs on here on this final lap. We should see him shortly. And here in a minute, once we get those guys cleaned up, we'll be sending it down to Colton McElwain, who is going to grab a word with our victor.
Here, Raphael Gagne from Canada, Rocky Mountain Bicycles. Raf, this has got to be one of the bigger wins of your career. A lot of times we see you out of the front of the race, we expect you to be up there early on. We don't always expect you to be there in the closing laps. Today was a big one for you. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, super happy. That's my first ever cross-country U.S. Cup win. I did that a few times on the cyclocross bike, but super happy to take the win here. I always loved racing in Bonelli, and happy to take the win for Rocky Mountain. And I was here with Rocky Mountain and Quebec Provincial Federation, so thanks to both of them for helping me out.
When Plaxton caught you with a couple of laps to go, he launched an attack almost immediately that separated you. We thought that might be the end of the day for you. Tell me what it took to close that gap, and tell me how ultimately you made that separation in the last lap.
It took me a lot. I mean, Max is always a strong fighter. He have a lot of watts, obviously, and he's pretty strong, always strong beginning of the year. I didn't know what to expect today, but I just, I found that little extra energy to catch back up, and thanks to my family and sister, there's a little bit of something going on in the family right now, so maybe that inspired me. So
awesome. Well, congratulations. It's always nice when you got that little extra motivation. Nice job.
Sure. Thank you very much.
This is race-fueled engineering. This is cross country. This is over mountain. This is performance. This is the passion of green. This is Cannondale.